Hello everyone, and today I'm going to be talking about Warhammer 40k. In my first video, I said I would do a video on what it is and how you can get into it. This is said video, but before we carry on, there's just a few things I want to tell you about. So, my cracked iPhone 7 is no longer cracked. It took me a very bad service and about 45 minutes of waiting around in the cold to do, but otherwise totally worth it. And Gareth's travel videos finally gave me a shout out. This is the best thing that happened to me in my entire miserable, pitiful life apart from my birth. Right, let's get into the video then. So the first thing you need to know about Warhammer is it is expensive, okay? And I mean, it's not like Lego type expensive where the average set is like 300 quid now. God. But it's expensive in the fact that the average box of models costs about 30 something pounds, and then add add on glue and the paints, that comes to about 45-50 pounds just for like some basic troops. So yeah, I'm gonna do this in the style of the actual introductory book that you tend to get for Warhammer, and basically break down what you can collect, um, what to like, how you paint stuff, and how you play. That's going to take up 90% of the video. So yeah, to start off with the collecting, there are a bunch of different factions you can collect, like Space Marines, my personal favorites, Orcs, or Chaos Space Marines. So the majority of 40k is split up into three different sides. The Imperium of Mankind, which is, well, mankind. Chaos Space Marines, which are a bunch of heretical humans that worship weird, weird gods. And the Xenos, which are just kind of there. But they have the Orcs, and you'll see why I love the Orcs later. Anyway, so once you've decided on what faction you're going to collect, you buy your first box, and you open it up and you see a bunch of sprues. You just think, what am I meant to do with this? Well, you will need clippers and glue, and a brain. I'm not going to take you through on how to build some minis because I'm presuming you're an existent human being and you know what you're doing with your life. So yeah, I'm going to move straight on to painting. So the best thing to do when painting is use a primer. Well, they're advertised as spray-on base coats, but we're just going to call them primer to save time. So what they basically do is they absolutely coat the model in a certain color. For example, I will put a picture on screen of this Gorkanaut I have from the Orcs, naturally. And this would have taken ages to paint if I hadn't had used a primer on it. Because, well, it covers a lot of area in about 5-10 minutes. So yeah, it's very useful. So then you can start picking out different bits of detail, like, I don't know, weapons, faces, stuff like that, in all your weird, wonderful favorite types of colors. But the most important thing to do, well, I'll have to do an actual video of me painting, but until I've actually got a video up, then I'm gonna have to rely on you guys to search up someone actually, painting. But yeah, after you've painted, you're gonna want to actually be able to, play the game. So, how it is, well, for this, I'll get up the Gorkanaut status sheet. Okay, so before I continue, I'd just like for you to take note that this is as of 10th edition, so if you're watching this in, like, I don't know, 2025, this probably isn't going to be 100% accurate, but bear with me. So, the Gorkanaut has a movement of 8 inches, which means that on the board, well, it can move 8 inches. That, yeah, if you didn't know that one, then get a life. And it has a toughness of 12, which I'll explain how that works later. In fact, I'll just explain how the average fight goes now. So, what you see here is a very simplified battle between the Adeptus Mechanicus's Tech Priest Endusier, which I painted myself, obviously, and the Orc's Pain Boss, which obviously has not been painted. So, we're gonna start off by rolling off to see who goes first. Also, when I say roll, we roll d6 because, you know, that's how it works. So, the Mechanicus, or we'll call him Endusier, rolls a 1, and the Pain Boss rolls a 2. So, how this works is highest score chooses whether they want to go first or last. So let's say the Pain Boss goes first, because I'm pretty sure they might be forced to go first, actually. I'm pretty new to this myself. So we start off with the movement phase. So we can see here they have 6 inches movement, so we pull out a ruler, slam it on the desk, and move him 6 whole inches. And next comes the shooting phase, but he doesn't actually have any shooting. In fact, does Endusier? Endusier has shooting. So yeah, you're gonna have to wait to see how the shooting phase plays out. Anyway, next up is the charge phase. So to do this, we're gonna have to measure how close the two are, and it seems that they are 11 inches away. So how charges work is the charger, which is the Pain Boss, rolls 2d6, and provided they don't roll horribly, they combine the two results, and if they make the charge, if it is more than how many inches they are away from the charged, they make the charge. However, I rolled extraordinarily poorly. You will see that a lot in 40k. And so I did not make the charge, and the Pain Boss does not move any further. This then carries it over to the Mechanicus's turn. So we'll start off with movement. Tech Priest Endusier also has 6 inches of movement. So yeah, you can see that it is now much more manageable distance to charge. However, before we charge, we have the shooting phase. So you might notice that Tech Priest Endusier has ranged weapons. Okay, so it has A1, which means attack, with a BS of 3, meaning ballistic skill of 3. So I roll a d6, and if it lands on a 3+, which it does, the attack goes through. So now it starts getting a teeny tiny bit complicated. So, the Archaeotech pistol has strength 6, and the Pain Boss has toughness 5. So, a quick rundown of how strength and toughness works. if the toughness is more than double, if the strength is more than double the toughness, then it hits on a 2+. If the strength is just more than, it hits on 3+. If the strength is equal to the toughness, then it hits on 4+. Less than is 5s, and less than half is 6s. So it's more than, so 3+ and misses. We then move on to the charge phase. So in case you need a physical example of someone making a charge, that's 5 inches to charge. And there's a 5 on that dice, and just in case you're curious, that was a 2 on the other dice. So it definitely makes, and these two are now engaged. So how engagement works is, this is just a 1 versus 1, so for a more traditional Warhammer battle, you'd have like a bunch more units, like some infantry here, a massive tank over here, and the same on the orc side. But yeah, for now, just for simplicity's sake, we're gonna say it's just a regular duel. Not a regular, you know what I mean. So we move on to the melee phase, and just so you guys know, going into melee with an orc is a very bad move. Traditionally, go for range because they normally have very good melee and very poor range. Very, very poor range, as I found out myself. So, Tech Priest Engiseer has 2 melee weapons, so we will attack with the axe. So for that we will need 3 dice, and we hit on 4 ups. So that's 1 hit, 2 hits, and 1 miss. So we just put that back in the dice box. So that is same as shooting, strength 6 versus toughness 5. That is a 3+. That's a 1, and that's a 1. So that did absolutely horribly. So, but just so you guys know what happens after I make it, we'll just say that one failed and the other one makes it. So it is armor penetration -2, and the pain boss has a save of 4+. So that means that there is a chance that the pain boss takes no damage from this, but only if it rolls a... That would have been so cool if it had rolled a 6. I'm not rolling very well tonight, I apologise. So that means that Tech Priest Engiseer deals 2 damage to the pain boss. And the pain boss has a wounds characteristic of 4, so that puts him at 2 wounds. It's not looking good for the pain boss. So the abilities are kind of complicated, so you're going to need to do a lot of research for them. But it is now the orc's turn, and the pain boss now has the option to fall back. However, this means that it can't shoot or declare a charge in that turn, and since there's no one to shoot or declare a charge at, that does seem like a half-decent move. Just kidding, it's a horrible move. But, and also, as I said before, orcs excel at melee, and also he has no ranged weapons. So, we have the Beast Snagger Claw here, which has 3 attacks, hitting on 4+. I was recording that, right? I was recording that. Just checked it over, I was in fact recording that. So, and annoyingly it does not have sustained hits, which makes it so that if you roll a 6, that lands a crit, which gives you an extra attack. But yeah, that is strength 9, okay. Strength 9 versus Toughness 4, that's more than double, so plus. All three of them hit. It's not looking good for poor Angicia. And it is an AP of -2, saves of 3+, so we're going to have to make 3 5+s here. Okay, I make 2, that's 2 damage, so that Tech Priest Angicia is left on 2 wounds. And that is basically how the average interaction goes. So let's just say that Tech Priest Angicia lands 1 hit on the Pain Boss, so the Pain Boss is just simply removed from the board. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little IRL bit. I will try and do more of these. So yeah, prepare to see a lot of this pristine white table. Anyway, I'm aware that this video has gone on for a little too long now. It's only twice as long as my last video. I'm sorry, I'll try and make shorter videos, but I've now been doing this for half an hour, and I don't want to spend another 6 hours doing all this again. So I'm gonna leave off now, and thank you for watching. See you in a bit. Dave, goodbye.